coming in and seeing it from a customer's perspective, right? So, a customer today, if you go and speak to them, I think, they are really more practical and they're more focused on ROI, right? I mean, if I'm going to spend X dollars, what is it that I'm going to get out of it, right? So, in your experience, when you do this ROI discussions with customers, right, what are the typical questions or typical challenges that you see, which from a Salesforce perspective you find it difficult to justify? Or I can also frame this the question a bit differently, that what are the, from an ROI perspective, how do you find it easier to justify an investment in Salesforce? What would be your take on that, Lars?
So normally when we're discussing with companies digitalization and how to justify that from a financial point of view, there is normally more dimensions than one. Of course, you can say, I want to grow my revenue. That is probably the easiest to measure. Of course, you also don't know if it's just because you put in a brand new CRM or because maybe there was a new product release of the company and it's a very successful product. So you can never ever say 100% it's connected to that. So the causality is very difficult to guarantee. But I would say you can see if it's about revenue growth, you can see if the revenue is growing. That's quite simple. The second thing, why do you do digitalization, is normally cost savings. So if we implement a service cloud, for example, with the service agents or a call center, then you can also see, of course, very clearly how many agents do you need for how many minutes and for how many cases, how quickly are cases solved when you put AI on it. So what is the handover rate to a human, or how many can be handled by an artificial intelligence? So that is also nicely measurable. Third one is normally customer experience internally and externally. People using the system and customers using the system, do they like it more? You can, of course, agree on an NPS score and these things, but it's also a bit tricky. We come into a really difficult situation when it's about, for example, integration, like MuleSoft. So that is extremely difficult because you have to spend money for the license, you have to spend money to implement, and then everything is more under control and you're future proof. But to put an ROI to that, I think is extremely difficult.
Yeah,